Yeah, we live?
Yeah, we live now, brother.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
What's going on, brothers? Welcome to the congregation where black men, we give you the truth. We don't spare no feelings, because you as men deserve the truth. We're here today to actually speak on things that, as black men, we need to be on code about. That we as men have not been holding each other accountable. I am joined here with the Honorable MOT, with our guest speaker, Waymon Brown. And as you already know, I'm your host, BMT. Welcome to the Black Men Congregation, where black men can sit inside and speak on the truth of what we see going on that we call unjust. I ask you to take a seat, like the video, share your concerns. If we feel need, we'll also open up the line for the Black Men Congregation for you to call in if need be. But for right now, we would like to have it. I see brothers are tuning in right now. That's good. So, brothers, I would like for you to sit down and pass it over to the Honorable MOT of the Black Men Congregation. Let's begin, brothers.
All right. Good morning, brothers. We seem to have a particular problem within our community with people who don't realize that they're operating like female proxies within our space. Now, you as a man, you're supposed to be choosing the people who's going to be on your team. But somehow, the whole-centric male has flipped everything on its head with the overproduction of fuck babies and the incessant ability to want the woman to decide everything when it comes to sex, rather than going out to build their own power. If you look at other communities, ones that function, this is not the way that things work. Because if you want women to be making all the decisions, then she's invariably in charge of everything. So you can't wait on a person to choose you who's less than you, and then somehow claim that you have more power than them once they're within your camp. Especially the way the criminal justice system is set up, the way the courts are set up. Why would you want to be picked by a woman if she gets to come into your life and possibly destroy it? Do you not care that much about yourself to where you don't want to pick people so that way they could be on your team? Black men, we have been taught to accommodate most people's bullshit because we can bear the weight of the world. I'm telling you that those people are wrong, and I'm living proof of it. Today is a new day where you realize that you cannot have a team without minimum standards. And this is not up to other people, the world, and society to decide those standards. You decide those standards for yourself. You should be on a path of self-improvement because you know, once you self-improve to a certain point, a lot of women don't want to mess with you. Why? Because you have your own power. And that's where you always need to be, on top, pointing down, giving direction, not taking direction. So you have to understand that when somebody is asking you to incorporate them into your life, you don't have any boundaries for which they come in. Because let's say if you have 10 people and you all want them on your team so bad that you're going to lie, cheat, steal, throw men under the bus, do any type of disingenuous thing, say any type of disingenuous thing, you don't have any principles. Because if you want to keep incorporating everyone into your life, you don't operate from a position of power. You operate from a position of weakness. Now, all these people may be around you, but if you're the only one giving out all the concessions, then you're not in charge. They're in charge. See, the process of elimination, before you even start to incorporate, is the way that society should work. And you have to realize that you make it work by starting on a household by household basis. See, everybody wants to talk about this community shit, but the only thing they really want to do is rebuild the matriarchy. And rebuilding the matriarchy doesn't help men at all. It helps the whole-centered Negro and the independent woman and the child that they produce that is going to be in balance. Not the girls, because the girls are probably going to be all right 50% of the time, but the boys 95% of the time are not going to be all right. See, with the process of elimination, you already decided up front what your team is going to look like, what it's going to be like, the things that you're going to put up with beforehand. So that way you're not trying to try before you buy, and you're looking at things from the path of how much I can get out of this. It's just a bad way to go. And it really doesn't help you at all. It helps the particular person who you bring into your life the most. See, your needs come last when you let them choose you. Your needs should come first. That's why you should work on your own power first. So that way you can keep an eye on the lay of the land. So when it's time for you to engage, you can actually see what's been happening in the marketplace and whether or not that you want to engage. You have to look at it like this. I'm going to explain basketball, an analogy for basketball. The process of elimination versus incorporation. Let's say that you want to take the best team that you possibly could in LA to win. Incorporation, you would start at the YMCA with your own personal friends, and you would just pick from what's there in the gym. Because in incorporation, you pick the people that are around you. You're really not looking out around. You're really just looking to the side and to the other side and see who's there. And you're making a quick distinction and decision that you probably shouldn't make. The process of elimination, you're looking at it from a NBA general manager standpoint. You're looking throughout the entire world for the best possible people that you can bring into your camp. So that way they can provide the level of success for you, depending that they are available. Now, nobody wants you operating like the GM. They want you to operate like you're playing a pickup game of basketball at the Y. Why do you think that? Lower level, bottom barrel chicks get right into your camp because they ain't got to compete. So she's just sitting there waiting on the highest value male to walk forward so that way she can pick them. And most host-centric men look at this like this is some type of a superior process. I'm just telling you that it isn't. It also goes for putting up with people's nonsense. This idea that we need everybody in the Black community just because they got black skin and a high melanin content and level and grade, and that they're ADOS, that we need to work with them. That is pretty much incorrect. If you don't come to the table with something to actually help the actual group, then you don't join the group. That's how it works. There's a lot of people who claim a lot of power from this particular thing called pro-Black. They've done a hell of a lot of bad things with it. Most of the people who are pro-Black, they don't even believe in higher education. They don't even believe in math and science. They don't even believe in participating in society. But they can find out all this knowledge about shit that don't mean shit to nobody and focus on that type of education and information and take the wrong type of lessons from that information and try to spread that virus among the people rather than the actual solution. You can't be mad at them because there's a lot of people who show up to this stuff and feel like they need this type of information to move forward. So we're going to move forward as a group. You have to understand we need to operate from a standpoint of the process of elimination. Another thing, the process of elimination. Male dominance is far more powerful of a solution at this point than skin color control. You have to realize that these people out here, they made their choices with their wombs. They made their choices with their time. And it's not your job at the end of their rope when they have nothing to give to find these people a space among you. They haven't even shown a level or track record that they even care about you or the future. They just want their current needs met. I don't want you thinking that you got to do that. You should make your team with the appropriate amount of people possible rather than trying to pick somebody because they have a high melanin content. That's the way you really be pro-black. You put pro-black male control of the household. So that way the entire household can get taken care of. We've seen 40 years what happens otherwise. There shouldn't be no debate on it. So I'm just telling you, trying to incorporate people with the wrong type of attitudes and mind states into your actual long-term plans is not the way to go. Yes, they've already made their decision not to be pro-black based on their dating choices. That has nothing to do with you. It takes a while to get power. It takes a while to work your way through school. It takes a while to be a man. But to be a punk ass fuck boy, all you have to do is act like some overly emotional, overly angry piece of shit, uncontrollable than a motherfucker you could get with these goddamn people. They get what they want to up front. You have to wait to go get yours. But there's nothing wrong with waiting. There's a lot of people who think that waiting is somehow less than man, less than ideal. It isn't. You need to be able to understand that your future and what you decide to put in your life is the most important thing possible. I talk to kids every day. Graduate from school, some with honors. The first thing their mother does, they put a crazy piece of garbage within their life that's gonna destroy it. Because they don't want their man to reach their full potential, because they don't want men reaching their full potential. Especially if you're black. So you have to understand that male dominance is far more of a powerful distinction for black male control at this point than actual skin color dominance. Because if that's the case, you wouldn't have all these light-skinned dudes up here telling you how pro-black they are. Sorry, we got to skip a generation. But we got to go find something somewhere else. Because we're going to establish a high level of command and control so that way we can get this thing under control. Because I'm not playing through no matriarchy, and I'm not going to rebuild it, and I'm not going to support it. Because it doesn't give long-term results for men. And it definitely don't even give long-term results for women either. So that's all I got. Thanks for having me. Y'all can take it from there. Joe, you're still muted. Joe.
Right here, brother. Okay, I had to get there. You know, I'll be back doing the tech work behind the scenes with us, brothers. I do apologize about that. What was the statement, brother?
The statement is about, we're talking about the particular subject here. So, you can take it from there. We go to Waymon. We're going to talk about this for an hour. We're going to get up out of here.
All right. Let me go ahead and pass it over to the guest while I'm finishing up on the back end. We pass it over to our guest, our honorable Waymon Brown. Brother, go ahead and weigh in, brother.
I appreciate you brothers for having me on. Can y'all hear me nice and clear?
We can, sir.
Okay, I appreciate BMT MLT, and of course everybody that's tuning in with us this afternoon or this morning, depending on your time zone. Definitely been a big fan of everything that's been going on this side of Black Males Congregation and being Black male first. So salute to everybody that's out there and that'll be supporting this movement as well. I thought this was a really fitting topic to have an opportunity to speak on. MOT brought out a lot of the points that I actually had in mind in relation to the process of elimination versus incorporation. You know, I think back to when I was in grade school and I actually really struggled with math. However, using the principle of the process of elimination, once that was introduced into my ideology, it made math a lot more simple because not only did it help me with solving equations, but I was able to use that principle as a guide in many other areas of life because essentially it revolves around taking out all of the choices that can't possibly help you solve for X. so that you're only left to work with the factors that could help you solve the problem sensibly. Now, I think that Black men can really benefit from this principle, particularly with an increase of the variety of the conversations that are being held within Black male media spaces. Now, while I think value that can be found in a variety of ideologies, if the mind is left unattended, it can lean one towards being distracted more than actually making progress within their life. So I believe it's very important for Black men to form a philosophy by which their lives will be governed and to operate within a constraint. Just like a horse that has blinders on, they don't look to the right, they don't look to the left, because they need to make sure that they're staying focused and not lose control. Because if they look at all the horses that are around them, they won't be able to stay on point the way they need to. We can benefit from that sort of analogy by sticking to core philosophies that we're not willing to bend on, by looking at all the different opinions out there, instead of just trying to just employing solid answers rather than trying to exercise a myriad of options. And I think about how this kind of the danger of trying to incorporate everything instead of eliminating first. A couple of weeks ago, I actually went to a buffet, and I remember I loaded my plate up with all these different meats because, you know, it was available. It's a buffet, it's one set price. So I'm putting chicken, beef, you know, all different types of starches, 2 and 3 different types of starches. I put some fruit on my plate, all these different desserts, vegetables. And I had a big appetite because look at the buffet that was in front of me. And it tasted good while it was going down. But I actually felt worse afterward because I had no business loading all those different items on my plate all at once, because my body can only digest so much at a time. So by taking in too many different things that you don't need to be taking in, it causes more contamination within your system versus proper nutrition. And I think it's the same way in relation to scarfing down too many different perspectives on a matter instead of just deciding on a main point. As MOT mentioned, essentially escaping from the matriarchy and having that seasoned with trying to sprinkle in a little bit of Black patriotism and trying to do too much instead of just sticking to one thing. Is one thing to keep an open mind on subjects and being diplomatic where it's appropriate to be. However, we have to become sophisticated enough in our reasoning to separate a social skill set used for the purpose of enhancing interpersonal relationships and actually coming to grips with the fact that we have to decide upon a very rigid way of being and essentially to be absolutist in certain areas in order to achieve specific results. Now, some of the benefits that I think that we can achieve by using the process of elimination versus incorporation or implementation by default, and just trying to take in everything that's available, is that we can gain much more leverage of our outcomes because we're clear in the management of our thoughts, our attitudes, our emotions, and our subsequent actions, which of course lead to our results. And the process of elimination also helps us to wisely distribute our time, our money, our energy, and other resources much more efficiently and effectively because they'll be used specifically towards objectives. It also helps us eliminate and minimize a lot of confusion because we can separate what's beneficial towards what we want to achieve versus what we simply find ourselves doing by mismanaged habits. Some of the areas that come to mind when I think of how we can use the process of elimination is areas in which we not only do things mentally, but also physically as well. So I think it's important when we're considering things to start with a question. Start with, is what I'm doing, whether it's a tangible or intangible, is what I'm doing, is it benefiting the end result, or is it something that I'm simply doing out of habit? And I think one of the best ways to come to that place where you can decide upon what you're going to eliminate is by accepting what incentivizes you. What incentivizes you based on what incentivizes another person may be very different, even though you might have a lot of common characteristics. For example, a man with a wife and a few kids, if he's going new car shopping, he's probably looking at things a lot differently than a man who may not be married or have children. The man with the wife and children is more than likely going to base his vehicle, most importantly, on cargo space, room, comfort, things like that, fuel efficiency, because he has to do something that fits his particular lifestyle. The man without a family may also consider those things, but he now has a little bit more flexibility, maybe in aesthetic, luxuries, performance, etc. because even though they're both men, they both have different ideologies based on their lifestyles. So be honest with yourself within any given area as to who are the people that you need to be surrounding yourself with in order for you to get the results that you want. Who are the people who are on the same page? What are the associations that you're allowing into your life? The types of media that you're taking in, the types of things you're allowing yourself to be entertained by, the types of areas of focus that you're giving your time to. Are they actually helping you within an area, or are they not? Are you being selective and picking people who are going to be a part of your network, or are you just dealing with anybody with a post just because they need some help? I think it's very important to be selective, to be very judicious, because ultimately the Black man who is responsible towards himself and towards his network and his peers are the ones who ultimately end up making up the leadership within a community. So I think it's a very key time right now for brothers to really step back, eliminate a lot of things that are completely unnecessary towards their goals, unnecessary towards their the thing that they have as far as an end result, and not just waste time or energy on either people or things that aren't even associated with what's most important for them with this time that they have left on earth. And I'll turn it back over to you, brothers.
Yeah, it's just that people have to understand that somehow, some way, within the Black male community, we have been somehow trained to think that the pursuit of women is somehow the height of masculinity. Like, I don't know when that started, but you have to realize these host-centric men don't run nothing. But you have to understand that you cannot get shamed or humiliated or cajoled into thinking that you want to be those people. Those people are already at the end of their life, no matter whether they're 20 or whether they're 70 years old. So when people just truly don't understand where they are in life, I'm like, dude, listen, man, sometimes you have to separate away from everything so you can find yourself. That's what I had to do. It took me nearly 2 years of no human contact, so that way I could be able to find exactly who I was. And once I got all this quote unquote hoe out of my system, literal, figurative, and other things, it was just like everything opened up because all my time was spent on me rather than the pursuit of things that was not going to bring me anything. But you as a Black man, even thinking that way, people would look at me, you like you lost your mind. Like, what do you mean? Don't you want to be out here chasing everything that everybody else chases? I'm like, no. I actually want to do something with my life. I actually want to get the hell out of this state. I actually want to do things and go places and everything else. But see, that's revolutionary and that's very rare among Black men. It's even rare in the church. It's even rare in entertainment, which runs most of the actual Black people space. But you have to understand that if you want different results, you're going to have to do different things, man. I'm not going to say that I don't like entertainment like stuff, but this stuff ain't supposed to be running your life. You ain't supposed to be sitting here thinking that you can manage all the best options in the world through the worst options that you're picking from. Because here's the thing that they don't tell you. The best of the worst options are still bad options. But they don't want you thinking like that. And when most of these people want to hand down their legacy to you, they just want somebody to take over their child support payments. They want somebody to reset that clock on Section 8, knowing that that woman ain't going to change. So that way she can have another place to stay for 18 years. You have to realize that you can't be caught up in this trap, man. Because as you can see, most host-centric dudes, they don't want you concentrating on money. They don't want you concentrating on success. They don't want you concentrating on your own power. They don't want you doing that. Because if you did that, then their stock of what they've been chasing, you just rendered dead inert by just not focusing on it. And then you have to understand that once you turn around and once you are at the point in the path, they want you to be quiet about getting out of that situation. They want you to be quiet about it. Because once you're, quote unquote, over the situation, they just want to lord over people who are at the beginning path or who can't find themselves in the situation. You see how that works? They want to control the outcome, the benefit, and the criticism. So they want to operate from a position of cowardice while trying to tell you how things should actually work, even though it's not working for them. You have to understand the process of elimination is powerful. That's how you start to operate from a level of power, because you have already decided, look, these are the things that I'm going to put up with. This is how you're going to operate in my team. And my team can operate just fine without the piece that you're trying to be in my group. You have to stand up for yourself and be like, look, miss, this team can run well without you. And it ran well 5 minutes before you got here. And once I get through talking to you, if you make it or if you don't make it, it's going to run well still. And while you're in my presence, this is how you're going to conduct yourself. Ray Alexander, you have to understand that the way they set the system up was so that way men like me couldn't be here. That's the way they actually set the system up. That's what the hoes choose system is about. The hoes choose system is about creating weak men in the matriarchy who's just going to focus on pussy or be mismanaged to the point to where they're just a complete chump. And then they mock them for being in that actual situation. When it's not actually the kid's fault for being there. It's the mother's fault for putting them there. Because if you hate men, what the hell you look like trying to get resources out of? If you hate men, why do you want to raise a little man? Why would you want to do that? But here's the thing. Because there's a lot of people out there who used to be about that life who ain't about it anymore. I mean, the Pookie and Ray Ray argument right now is kind of like a proud thug versus productive brother argument. And I'm not saying that I should be rewarded for my production, but what you damn sure ain't gonna do is keep throwing black men under the goddamn bus because you out here chasing pussy all day. That shit needs to come to an end. You need to take your dumb ass out there and chase them worthless fucking bitches and shut your fucking mouth up about it. If it's such a good idea, you can tell me how you retire from this stupid shit. Because I guarantee you, outside of these small circles of fucking fuckboys, dude, don't nobody take this dumbass shit seriously. But you truly have to understand that these people, even though they stand with women, they're going to routinely find themselves in male spaces defending women's points and views. Because that's who they stand with. It's crazy that they know everything about these hoes, but somehow them hoes still run them. It's crazy that they know everything about these hoes, and they so strong enough as an internet alpha male, but you turn around, but hoes manipulate your actions all the time. But they think they winning in this actual conversation, man, and that's what I don't understand here. Because in other societies, men band together and they get shit done. And then you have the women of yesteryear who walk in complaining about the choices that they made. And that they actually think that people who they still don't respect is going to somehow save them from the demise that they set up for themselves. That's not your job, man. Your job is to establish male dominance so that way you can have control over your household, not rescuing women. If she's not reciprocating, she got to be out of there. You don't have time to be negotiating with your partner inside the household. You're the leader, she's the follower. You ain't got your money together, you shouldn't be dating no woman. You ain't got your life together, you shouldn't be trying to have kids. This is simple, man. This is simple. But I understand that, you know, the needs of the short-term relationship, I understand that. But if you're going to be doing this stuff, you need to be doing it from a position of power, not from a position of weakness. Because most of these dudes who claim they can get a bitch, these are the same people who are up here whining about the family court system for the most part. So what I want you guys to do is to separate from the forces of people who think like that, who do that shit, who talk about this shit on hours on end and all this stuff. Here's the deal. You need to be a better person than that. And once you guys get out of that, you do what I do. I don't deal with it any longer, but I point at them and I laugh the fuck out of them every time I get a fucking chance. Because with reptiles, there's two things that you do. You throw things at it to get them to fucking move off your property, or you fucking shoot them. That's it. There ain't no other fucking options. And you don't need to be negotiating with everybody who comes into your life. Because negotiation means incorporation. You have everything that they want. They have nothing that you want. I'll kick it over to Joe.
Yeah. All right. So there you go, brother. So I've been sitting and listening, and that was good words of knowledge. And shout out to everyone who's coming to the chat. Much respect to all men that come and sit down in the congregation. You know, sometimes I just like to sit down and just, you know, come off the pew and just sit down and just, you know, MOT, he just be going in. You know, I just let him talk, and, you know, now we have guests coming in, so it makes it a lot easier. You know, it actually puts a smile on my face, but that means there's brothers out there that also are in agreement. And the thing about it for a while, brothers, is that you've been told, for the most part, that you've been part of this type of system. That it's wrong to have a choice from A, B, C, and D. But they never told you about E on the paper. They never tell you about E, do they? And for a lot of you brothers, y'all have to understand that I see now where they are coming to shame the educated lane. That to be that brother that want to hunger and thirst and build up your network. Y'all know I always bring up the network, the man's network. See, when you build up your network, that means you have more access, more credibility to choose, like Brother Waymon was saying, from which car you want. You do. Because that means you can speak on what you want that fits your needs. And you see, for a while, black men, you've been told that you had to take that basic model. Yeah, it's a used car. Yeah, it's been through Hurricane Katrina, but see, it'll still crank up and ride good. But that's not so, because if you have the proper credit, you don't have to touch that shit. You can leave that shit right there. Walk right to the dealership. And you see, what needs to start happening, brothers, is you need to start gaining your net worth. I myself, as I'm going right back to school now to go get my CDL. Now, I've had some brothers who have told me, why are you doing that, man? Shit, you got money. Why are you getting all that stuff, man? You gonna work for that white man? See, that's those talking points. I've had women saying, you think you're better than us. You think you're better than your community. Yes, I am better than you because I'm gaining the knowledge I need to be of the best. I'm going to be of a different ilk. See y'all brothers, we got to be able to catch this type of talking points. You see, they don't take the guy who plays street ball and just throw him in the NBA. No. That rarely happens anymore. But that man who has worked and fought his way from high school through college, and then after that, when it comes to the team, if they find something worthy of him, you see, that's how it has to be. But you got to be like that GM of an NBA team. You have to make them scratch and fight to get to you. Now, some of y'all brothers gonna say, "Well, brother, they're not picking me here." Well, shit, that's the beauty of being your own GM. You don't have to pick from that one city, now, do you? You can go to other cities, other places. Hell, you can go to other countries. But see, you have to build yourself up, and you have to build the model team that you want. What type of woman do you want to have the education that fits you? What do you do there? Other than just lay on your back, what can you do for me? Well, you know, I have my bachelor's and I'm a nurse. Okay, so you have money. You can add that to my wealth. What else can you do other than work? Because I can work for myself, damn it. Well, I can respect and honor you as my husband, as my man, and I can help rear our children. Okay, then now we're talking. You see, brothers, when's the last time you start building the ideal package you want? For a long time, you've been told in these songs and music in different industries, take me as I am for what it is. Hell, you got these dudes telling you that Lauren London is the ideal chick that you need. Mind you, as much as famous as this woman is, she can never secure the bag and get a man to marry her. Do y'all not understand the talking points that these guys and these women are having for y'all? Take it just as is for what it is. Be thankful for what you get. But see, I believe that's bullshit. Why are you just thankful for what you get? Like you should be happy to get the scraps. But see, understand this. As a black man, they do not respect your authority. So what you need to do is enforce your authority. That's what MOT and I be trying to tell you, brothers. You got to enforce your authority. See, when we talk about power, we talk about it on a whole different scale than just in that goddamn bedroom or how to play and mac game. Listen. A brother who controls his own fate, he don't have to mac or learn game. He don't have to do that dumb shit. He can go pick and choose. Why do I have to spit game when I can just walk up to a woman and say, hey, either you like what you see or you can move on. Women will respect and come to that type of power. You understand? Men who have money, they don't have to be sexual. They just command what they want. I want this type of, I want a Cambodian, Korean woman at my room at 11 o'clock. She needs to be out by 1 o'clock. So that way I can get some sleep, get up and catch my flight. They don't think men of power, they don't do that? Shit. That's very possible. But you got to visualize, what do I need to get there? Get your own power, get your own influence, go travel, go learn things, go be of your own network. Stop taking on what they tell you to take on by certain narratives. People who play this game of being happy to take the sloppy leftovers of the community, notice all they can do is tell you how to play a game. Since when did it be cold for men to play games? Did y'all ever think about it? Why would men want to play games? Why do you want to learn games when you rather be the man of your own fate? But see, this is why a lot of people like pulling our chain. They like catching you up on this sexuality shit. That you know more good for just breeding. But see, we talking on something else. We're talking about economic-based power. They tell you to go back to the same community that does not appreciate your value and go fix it. Why are you fixing shit that was never yours? MOT, Waymon, would you put money into a car that you'll never own? Would any brothers ever do that?
Wouldn't even be a point.
Exactly. But here we have these talking points where, hey man, you need to come back and help build up. What build up? Build up what? I don't own that shit. I don't own those women. I don't own none of them damn streets. If I did, half of those niggas wouldn't even be there. Actually, 3/4 of them would be out right. 3/4 of them would already been run out. But they'll tell you to go back and take that used car and make that bitch run. I ain't no prophet. I ain't no lawmaker. I ain't none of that shit. I'm me. I'll build my own shit on my own design, how I see fit. Black men, we need to understand. You need to start incorporating your own laws in your own household. No man can come up in MOT's house and tell him how to run it. No woman damn sure can come up in his bedroom and say, listen, you will appreciate me. He say, bitch, get out, lizard. Same thing for Waymon. Ain't no woman gonna tell him how to run his shit. But see, that's power. You can walk away from that table and say, I don't have to take you. I don't have to take you or your goddamn kids. You ain't mine. But see, that's the game that these people will play with your life. You gotta understand. You need to start eliminating those type of people and those type of women out of your lifestyle. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy because we've been put in that type of situational mindset. But see, once you start doing the process of elimination, scratch out A, B, C, D, and then you get down to E. See, that's a choice that they don't want you to pick because it's not the normal choice that you're supposed to take. Pass on to any of the brothers on the mic.
I think both of you brothers made some incredible points just now. One of the things I focus on my YouTube channel as well as with my website, it's called the esquireproject.com, is ultimately about Black male self-enterprise. Now, the focus is predominantly on economic self-enterprise, making yourself more valuable in the marketplace, creating opportunities. But it's also balanced with being a person who can create the opportunities for themselves in order to be successful by first turning inward. So not only are we talking finance, but we're also talking about having the wherewithal to control your emotions, to control your desires, to make sure that you can turn within yourself first before you have to look outside of yourself, because ultimately you have to be in control, or you have to be the operator of the control panel of your life. If that doesn't happen, you will always essentially be left at the mercy of people who will make decisions for you. And I really do believe it's important for us to utilize and have the wherewithal to understand our own shortcomings that we need to make improvements on, analyze things that might even be points of weakness, because ultimately to break free from the matriarchy is going to take an unwavering allegiance to Black male patriotism, where you know that you're about Black men being in charge of themselves first, and then that leads to being in charge of their households and then a community of people first before anything. But if you waver within that, if you question whether or not you're really going to be on it like that, you automatically leave the door open to be influenced by other people that shouldn't really even be having a say. So it has to be to a point, I believe, that your allegiance is so strong that you would rather lose your life before you compromise on your principles. Just like a soldier in the army who would rather say, you know what, go ahead, I don't care if I have to be beheaded. I would rather do that than to turn on my country, because my loyalty is towards my principles. My loyalty is towards what I know is a sense of justice. This is my purpose. So if you take that away from me, you're essentially taking away my identity. And most people would rather die before they have their identity taken away from them. But I think that is very important that men realize that you have to start making decisions that are completely independent of even dealing with women. It has to be inconsequential. It has to be to a point where you saying, regardless of what happens, regardless of the outcomes, regardless of how painful this may be, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be, I'm going to stick to a certain way of being because I know it's the right thing to do, not because it helps me to fit in. And sometimes that might even come at the expense of several relationships, even with blood relatives, where after a while you come to your own realization as you develop your own values and understand that these people are not necessarily my family as much as they are my relatives. I can form family based on those who have similar ideologies and who's willing to live and stand on those things. So that was just a point I wanted to make. And I think both you brothers had some really good points. I especially just appreciated the way you just closed off BMT.
I think one of the things about it that why a lot of men we push hard for you brothers to understand your own self-worth and value. You don't have to. I'd rather y'all pick up a book before you pick up that pussy. Let me say it again. I'd rather y'all pick up a book before y'all pick up that pussy. But you can get more out of that goddamn book than that goddamn pussy. Some of y'all don't understand that. Some of y'all, that shit might fly over your goddamn head today. See, I when I was young and a fool, I chased after that goddamn ass. And I find it very interesting, like MLT was saying, that you see these older men in the goddamn 40s and 50s still chasing at the ass. Did you find that very interesting, MLT?
Very fucking interesting. Very much.
I find it funny that black men, at one time, we were innovative. We were men that seek knowledge. That before we then went after a woman, before you could go to another man and ask for his daughter, he had to ask, what do you bring, boy? What do you have that you think you earn the right to come to my house and ask for one of mine? Because my daughters, what I generate from my household, what I incorporate in my laws is at a high stock. The woman that you want can cook, clean, bear your children, help you out there in the field. She ain't gonna give you no mouth, but she know better. So what do you bring that you can keep up that kind of maintenance? No, sir, you can't say that. I'm good at getting pussy in the back of the station wagon. You can't say that type of bullshit. See, back then, you said that kind of dumb shit. The man would say, okay, stay right there. He would come back with a goddamn 12 gauge. Blow your ass straight away. There was no excuse for that type of stupidity. That did not survive back then. You had to be able to generate and have something worth value. Now we're being told the men of no value that are only good at getting the draws is the best alpha value in the community. Not the brother who can goddamn run logistics for a business. Not the brother who can build a website. Not the brother who can run a doggone a tractor trailer business. Not the brother who can actually fix and maintain a home. Not the brother who actually knows political science. We don't hear those type of brothers. Why? Because they understand that y'all don't see and value me as you do that Negro over there. So I don't get mad at those brothers when they say, fuck that. I'm taking my network and taking it elsewhere. And what do you see? Those who cannot leave outside of the corral. Hey, where all these bulls are going? Why ain't they mating with us? Well, see, you too dumb to know how to get out of the corral. See, we know how to get over the corral and not shot and not hurt ourselves. You too stupid to do that. So when we go to the other pasture and mate and eat and get fat off our belly, y'all can't do that. That's why I wish some of y'all could go to Atlanta. If you go to Atlanta, they have the police. The police station is corrals the black community in. They keep all the niggas in. They make sure that they stay in Old National Road. No, all y'all niggas stay in Old National Road in College Park. Fuck up this shit right here. Nowhere else. Y'all can't go nowhere else. Why? But they know those niggas only good for breeding and fucking up shit. Say it like I want to say, well, BMT, that's pretty fucked up. That ain't my damn people. If my people know better, you fuck up my shit, you gonna get your ass fucked up. Y'all need to stop calling everybody your goddamn brother. Everybody ain't your damn brother. But mine, last time I checked, you had slaves catching slaves and bringing them right back to the plantation and fucking them. So what kind of brother is that? Nat Turner understood that, and for a revolution, he had to kill those who had that type of mentality. Nat Turner understood that. So you gotta understand that this shit ain't nothing new. If you want some radical change, you gotta be willing to make those steps. But some of y'all understand that y'all want to see change, but y'all say only if MOT does it. On MOT, if you just bring me $3 million and build my business, and don't chastise me, don't hold me accountable, but I need you to come and put in the work, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just help me rebuild my church, and help me and some other people. MOT say, man, fuck yourself. Not me. Women, I need you to build a website for me and bigbootylicious.com so that way me and nigga go fuck yourself. That's all it need to be. Y'all don't try to explain yourself. Don't try to figure these niggas out. Like, I literally built a house that was fully refurbished with furniture and everything. I got niggas that want to talk me down, saying maybe you should, you know, take WIC vouchers. WIC voucher? What the fuck is that? What can I buy with goddamn WIC vouchers, nigga? That's the game. That in Black Honda, it makes sense. I pass it over to MLT for us to do the closing. Go ahead, MLT. Pass it over to you for us to do the closing.
Hey man, I want to thank y'all for coming out to the Black Men's Congregation. You have to realize that the people who are trying to do this incredible marketing job, who's trying to dress up their life like their life is going somewhere, it all kind of gets put to the side when somebody like me walks in the room. And you're going to have to understand that there's going to be people who are going to not like you just because you are where you are. And then they dress up their criticism of you as if it's actual criticism, and they're going to just dress up points of view that are not even towards you just to try to label you something, just to try to make you less than, rather than give you the actual respect that you actually deserve. But here's the thing. Who's not happy in this scenario right now? Because the man who probably can't get no ass, he's a hell of a lot happier than somebody who's getting 25 of their check garnished by the family court system. But they want to dress the situation up as if one person is happier than the other. See, that's the incredible marketing strategy of these people within this organization called the matriarchy, because these people are nothing but the PR arm for the matriarchy. And what you have to realize is that if you eliminate these people up front, you don't need them. Because what they hate more than anything else is what the women are experiencing is that you have no relevance in the current world. And we can do this shit without you. And we actually don't need your help to do anything. And I'm fully invested in seeing them fail and suffer. And you know what the greatest part is? I ain't got to lift a fucking finger to do it. I can just sit back and watch. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't plant anything in the spring, how are you going to expect anything in the summer? You're walking up to that dirt and you're looking down at it and you're like, man, the watermelon's going to come out of the actual ground at some point in time. I'm like, dude, but if you didn't plant anything, why are you expecting something out of the dirt? Well, Mr. MOT, you don't understand. See, I need a watermelon right now. I'm like, but dude, planting season was in April. We're in July. And you're looking down at the ground that's not going to produce for you. But Dale's like, you don't understand. I need this right now. I'm like, look, if you needed it right now, then maybe you should have had enough introspection and enough long-term thinking skills to understand that this is the time to plant, this is the time to wait, and this is the time to reap. But see, people don't want to do that. It's just like somebody told me in business, man. When you're there, your job is to find out as much information as you can and get out of there. And the last things I will give you is this. As a man, your overall responsibility is to do three things. You got to know when is it time to build, when it's time to watch, and when is it time to act. And if you do those things in the wrong order, you're going to mess up a lot of things. But if you do them in the right order, you're going to walk away with everything, and it's not going to take as much effort. All this stuff comes with patience. And quick pussy isn't going to solve anything in your life. Thank you so much for coming out. Y'all have a really nice day.
Peace. Peace to the brothers out there. And salute. Thank you again for having me on, guys.
No problem, thanks.
No problem, bro. Thank all you brothers for coming out here. Like the video. Support the channel. This is brought to you by MOT and BMT. This is the Black Men Congregation. You can catch us every Sunday. I just been sitting here vibing and just sipping my whiskey, enjoying the vibes. Please, brothers, come on out. We'll have another guest next Sunday. We'd like to thank Brother Waymon Brown for coming on out. Check out his channel. It's in the chat below. Thank you, brothers, for coming on out. You can always hit us up on the Facebook. We can always sit down and break bread. Any type of consultation needed, you can be done by MOT or BMT. We can talk about anything and set up a show. Come with respect, we will bring you that respect. All right, brothers, much salute. Y'all good luck throughout the week. Peace.